So we got a quorum. It's 7:05. I'll call the February 26th meeting of the school building committee to order. First thing we'll do is just do a roll call of who's with us tonight. Scott Tereshak here. Carrie Hurley
here.
Glenn Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yep. Aqua Bong.
Yeah.
And Sean O'Rourke here. Second thing on our agenda is citizen speak. So we reserve the first 15 minutes of our meetings for any citizen that wants to speak. We ask that if you are speaking, please state your name and address and limit your commentary to 3 minutes. So with that, I'll wait and keep an eye on the lobby, see if anybody has any commentary they want to offer. And seeing none. Okay. Next thing on our agenda, item 3, is approval of past minutes. So the packet that you received from PMA had the meeting minutes from January 12th, which was essentially our architectural selection that we last did. So I was hoping everybody had a chance to kind of review those and any comments, edits, or anything like that. Keep an eye on the people online too, see if they do. Not seeing any. So I'll entertain any motion to approve the minutes from February 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 12th.
Okay. I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All right, seeing none, we'll go through a roll call vote. Here's Tim. And, Scott Tereshak?
Yes.
Carrie Hurley?
Yes.
Glenn Hoffman?
Yes.
Aqua Bong?
Yes.
And Sean O'Rourke, yes. Sorry about this, I'm just trying to, there it is. And Sean O'Rourke, yes. All right. Fourth thing on our agenda right now is kind of go over old business. Hey, Mark. Oh, good. So Mark Laurie joined us, and Tim Lombard, I think, is joined online too. So fourth thing on our agenda, hey Tim, is old business. So 4A is discussion, update, project next steps. So as everyone's aware, at our last meeting, we went through interviews for 2 architects, Arrow Street and RDA. It was, if I recall, a unanimous vote for Arrow Street. So we're in the process now. Tomorrow night, Sean Burke from PMA and myself will be attending the select board meeting to basically present our recommendation for the architect. Sean, I don't know if you have any additional, if not.
I know we can run through there. We can do it now. You want to open up the proposal and things like that, or do you want to go through the visioning session, or how you want to handle it?
I would open it to them for the visioning session.
All right, sorry. Can I share my screen?
It's been a long day.
Sean's possibly enable me to share, and I can put
Yeah,
up the screen.
definitely.
You want to jump to that or finish up the old business first?
Well, that's part of the old business. So yeah, it's basically our next steps there. So, sorry.
Should be able to see this. All right, so for people on the committee, this is uploaded to our shared folder, the same folder we've been using for the entire project. So you can open it up and peruse this at your leisure afterwards. But this is really a roadmap from the architect team of how they plan to go ahead with this project. And it's going to start, they have some outline here, but we can go through in a little more detail. So their first step is a kickoff meeting either this week or next week. And this is to identify who the players are here, who the stakeholders who are going to be making decisions around the visioning and programming of the school. And the programming meaning what's going in the school, the amount of classrooms, the amount of special classrooms, and any other parts and pieces that are going to be part of the new school building. This is really going to set the tone and set the structure for this project. Whatever comes out of this group is what this committee is going to be entrusted to make sure that gets put in that building. So I know we've had some early on conversations about this and we continue to have them, but this is, you know, really important part, making sure we have the right people there, making sure we have voices from, you know, the administration, voices from the middle school teachers, and, you know, anyone who wants to kind of speak about this project and who has an opinion of stuff, and now is really the time to do it. The architects are then going to take all of this information back and start designing the school. So now is the time to get people involved. And if they want to be involved, they should speak up now and do it. So with the architect team, we want to schedule a kickoff meeting either for this week or next week, depending on people's availability. And then the one thing
How do we determine the district leadership team?
Yeah,
Just as that seems to be an important group to identify. I'm not sure we've done that yet, or.
yeah. So do you still have the working group of folks that you were kind of planning for this effort? So Peter's kind of developed a roster of folks that were getting ready for this whole thing. So
I think they already came to one. Did they weigh in last month on something?
I'm not that they didn't come here.
Okay.
Yeah.
The folks that helped with the architectural,
Yeah, they were
Phil Fish, remember
Yeah. So the committee that did the short list for the architect, if that's the same group, then that was the group that came.
It would probably include a few more people too.
Yeah.
so if we could this week or the next day or two, if we can identify that group, get contact lists and kind of get everyone on a contact chain so we can figure out the best time to meet and really kick this off with the design team.
So for the meetings that are here, you guys going to be, you know, collaborating with them, with the district? I'm just trying to figure out, you know, communication lines and stuff like that.
Everything can go through us, and it probably should go through us. We'll copy everyone so everyone's aware of it, but we'll be in charge of making sure everyone's identified and coordinated and between the architect and that group, and then we'll facilitate these conversations and more than likely be here for all of these meetings as well.
Okay.
So the kickoff is good. They're going to kind of introduce what the visioning work plan is and how they do it. And then school tours are important. They want to bring that group around to other schools that have been built recently to show them, you know, I think Milton, the schools have been built in the last 20 years or so, but they want to show you what was built this year and what was built last year, and making sure everybody understands what's out there and what's available if you haven't been in a school that's been more recent than what we have in Milton. So that's important. And then the architects are going to want to come into a Milton and do a half a day walking around your building, seeing how Milton operates, seeing how the current middle school operates, to get a sense of, how Milton works, and try to make sure they don't lose that, doesn't get lost in the shuffle when they're trying to design this new school. And then they'll have lots of listening sessions where, it's going to be brainstorming, people throwing out ideas. There's going to be visioning sessions with their educational planner. They're going to come in and try to have directed conversations and directed meetings to get information out of them. So there'll be multiples of those. If you go through this list, we've got multiple visioning sessions, programming workshops, and it looks like by their schedule, mid-April, they'll have all of this done. So it is a relatively short and intense period. So the people in that group, I think, need to kind of look at this and realize there is upfront, there's a fairly large commitment, and it's important that they make the commitment and they stay with it. But then after that, there's going to be some downtime where the architect is going to go back and start drawing some things and then reviewing it with them.
So I think the one takeaway is like identifying, the district leadership team, like exactly, the roster that's on there. Anybody on school building committee can attend that too, but the people that are going to be living in that space, for work and stuff like that are like the key ones, I think, for that right now. So can you go back to the first slide? So the week of 3/11 looks pretty intense. Sorry, that slide there. We've got a full day, half day, and then 2 hours on a separate day. So it's like 3 days of that week are going to get tied up. So we, for a proposal for a schedule, I think it looks good. But we just need to coordinate with you guys to make sure this is in.
I mean, that's soon, and it's asking someone to be away for 2 days.
Yeah.
So one day would be the tour. I think there's half a day where the architects want to be in there, so that it wouldn't necessarily pull them away from their duties. But the architects are want to be in the school. to see, and then after that, pull them in for 2 hours to kind of decompress over the school tours and the shadowing day. To talk about what they saw, what they liked, what they didn't like, and kind of start laying the groundwork for the visioning and programming sessions.
Okay, and Aqua has his hand up, so just trying to recognize.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Would it make sense to invite town meeting members in the areas that abut or where the school is located? I think that would be precinct 4 or 4A, and including the senior citizen neighborhood next to it as part of the stakeholders.
Yep. So part of what they're talking about now, Aqua, is the internals of the operations of the school. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I believe following this, once they define what the school is for space needs, for how many classrooms, how many specials, stuff like that, and they kind of get that, we'll be coming back to the community at that point for that kind of stakeholder engagement. I think right now it's more from an educational perspective for the building. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I just noticed Larry and Katie from Aris, they're actually both on the call. So if they want to, if they're listening in and they want to add, feel free to jump in and kind of either correct us or expand on what we were talking about.
Greetings all. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Greetings. So I was shaking my head. I think you answered Aqua's question correctly. This is intended to be the really internal workings of the school and thinking about how it works together as an educational visioning process. We're happy to have members of the community. Leave it to you guys to decide what makes sense there. But it sounded like Aqua, the interest of reaching out to the neighborhood might be a slightly separate track, but agree with you that we should do that quickly given the concerns people are likely to have in the neighborhoods.
Will that be addressed at some point, if not now?
We can certainly pull together a slightly different version, which would talk about community outreach. If you would like that. We were focusing at the moment on the educational side. I think, as Sean was saying, so that we're giving the educators a heads up as to where we're heading with the next 6 weeks or so.
I agree, and I see that should be the priority. I just want, once that is done, sometime, maybe 6 months, whatever time, let's have in the work plan some discussion with the neighborhood.
Yes, I agree.
Yep. Yeah, and that so if you think of it this way, Aqua, there's an internal and external kind of coordination that needs to happen. For what we're just showing now for the slides, like I was saying, it's internal, but that external one is very important. We're going to be, jumping into that too as this progresses.
Thank you, Sean.
No problem. Yeah, sure.
I agree with Aqua's point, and I think Larry's idea of, again, potentially having a separate engagement thing, engagement timeline makes sense. I think we want to get some input or feedback or just engagement with that group before designs, I think, get too far, because then at that point you wasted time, right? And we brought it back, which is a lot of the point of engaging with the educational vision right now. So I think even having an initial conversation with those groups to re-engage, since it's been probably since the land swap conversation 8 months ago, 9 months ago, since we've really had a more robust engagement with them, I think probably makes sense. So I agree with that point. In terms of this timeline, I think it is very aggressive, which I like from, and I think we need from a timeline perspective. I wonder, the very first thing is kickoff meeting this week or next week. I just don't know, Peter, based on your district leadership team, and I'm sure they have lots of other things they're doing, just the ability to kind of coordinate that within 8 working days or something to get something done by the end of next week.
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, okay, so, great. And then the shadow day, I think to the point that's been made is, it says the attendees is the district leadership team. But are we saying that actually that's just the architects and not the district leader? Or are we saying that the architects would like the district leadership team to shadow along with them? So there's somebody to converse with as they're observing, to kind of bounce things off of and get feedback. Like what's the vision for that day?
Larry, you want to field that one?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. I think in general, yes, we're assuming that there may be some separation between the district leadership and the folks who are on the ground at the current Pierce Middle School. And to the extent it's helpful to sort of walk it together and see what's going on there, can be quite good for us. We're hearing from you about what you think is working, what you think can be improved. You're seeing things, we're seeing things, and we're sort of working together. I think the schedule is fluid. We're sort of assuming we were starting quite quickly, but agree with you, putting together something this week probably is going to be a bit ambitious for everyone, given the fact that you're coming back from a week off. We could set something up next week, and really these are some sort of starting points from our side, and would love to hear from you guys as to what you think it will actually work at your end.
Yep. So one of the questions I have, Larry, too, is, the half-day tour, and you're mentioning the middle school. We also have a preschool component of the project, so I don't know if you also do the preschools too, and those would be at a different building. We don't have to go to each building, but I think picking one of them and seeing the operations of the preschool at one of them too. For the school tours that you're talking about, are there ones that you're targeting, like existing schools that you guys have built that you know about now, or is that something to be determined for which ones we're going to go look at?
I would suggest, so one of the things we want to do is pull in some input from Mike Parolo to get some ideas. And some of that comes from a little bit of hearing from what you guys think about where you're headed with the new school, and then trying to understand, okay, what opportunities are out there for different middle schools or preschools that you want to take a look at. So a little bit of give and take there, but we can certainly start with some suggestions, and likewise, if you guys have suggestions, we're happy to take those as well. Usually it's limited mostly by how much can you fit into a day, and what's the sort of travel time between these various schools. So we're, being realistic with getting across between A and B.
Any other questions? All good?
Excited.
Yeah, so the one thing we have talked about is it does seem aggressive. I agree with that, but we do need to move. If we want to get to that town meeting and get the approval, we have to be aggressive. We have to hit the date. So no pressure, but just that it is what it is. That's the reality here, and we do want to kind of keep this moving. So to the extent that we can get people involved early, we definitely want to do that.
Yep.
Well, if your daughter can get that logo done.
No problem. She's already done. She finished it after
She
school.
did?
Yeah.
His daughter's got the new logo for country.
Also, don't worry about it.
So essentially, for our next steps, administratively, we'll be getting the proposal from Arrow Street if we've already received it.
We have that, yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Sean and I will be in front of the select board tomorrow night. We'll be, presenting our recommendation to the select board tomorrow night, and then in 2 weeks, they'll basically, after reviewing it, most likely approve it, and then at that point, we'll have a formal contract with Arrow Street at that point. But during that time, Larry, I appreciate your guys' participation in this and working with us, while we get going on that too. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah. No. And if we need to wait until the contract is finalized, we can do that as well. Just sort of pushes things back a week or so.
Yep. And I'll find out about that one.
Sure. Fair enough.
Okay. All right, so any other questions on next steps or kind of your movement? Seeing no hands. All right. Next thing on the agenda is, oh, please stop sharing. Yep. Thank you, sir. Next thing on the agenda, item 4B is discussion update land swap. So, for those of you that are aware, the legislation is in a joint committee of Senate and state representatives. They provided, it was supposed to close, I think, last week, and they gave a 2-week extension. So the committee's actually closing this Thursday, the 29th, I believe it is. I believe there's a hearing tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. I think you can go by Zoom or live in person if anybody's around the state house wants to go up. So I know there's a number of people who submitted testimonies on behalf of us, both representatives, Fluker Oakley and Representative Driscoll. We've tried to be in contact with Senator Timothy's office. I haven't got any email responses back or anything to this point. We've emailed about 3 times. But I know his chief of staff is out sick too. I got an auto response on one of those. So, with that, depending on what comes out of that committee, when Senator Timothy was here a couple of weeks ago, he laid out like a 15-step process. I think we're on step 8, roughly. So from this committee, they'll report out that I think it was like 5 different options, essentially ranging from favorable that, they recommend it to they don't recommend it. And there's some in between of, they recommend it for further study or something like that. So we'll see what comes out of that committee and take it from there at that point. So as far as land swap or anything, over on that, I'll see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to ask. None? All right. All right, on to new business, item 5. This will be the fun one. So MSBA statement of interest. So every year for the past 4 years, we've been submitting a statement of interest as Mass School Building Authority. Ada Rosemarin has kind of championed it for the past 4 years. So we're going to need some help, basically dusting off the previous statement of interest that we had and, updating it with current, metrics for student enrollment and kind of what we're doing for the project and stuff like that. So essentially just looking for any volunteers that may be interested in doing that.
When's that due?
I believe it's coming up. It's like in April, I believe. And I can find out. I'm not 100% sure.
If Ada was doing it as the school committee rep, I can do it as one of the school committee reps.
All right.
It's just a resubmission of an SOI.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, essentially what we've done the past years
It'd
is,
be a lot of time and paste then, just from
just take.
It's gonna be a lot of hard work that I expect lots of credit.
Yeah.
We'll give you the credit. But you just gotta get the old one. That's all I'm saying. They have the old one with you to make your job much easier.
Yeah.
The hardest part was having access.
Are we talking copy and paste here?
Control C.
Hold on, guys.
I'll help you out, whatever you need.
Guys, please, because people are trying to listen to Scott.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying the hardest part when we did it the first time around was access to district information. So that's why Ada had to take the lead because she had access to that.
Okay.
And the rest of us helping out could do some of the writing, but a lot of the information just wasn't available to us. So hopefully it's just a repeat of the last one.
Sorry about that. It's just like with people online when everybody's talking. I've been on the other end of conference calls for that. So, all right. And then, if you need assistance with anything with statement of interest or anything like that, please let us know.
Just gotta confirm what the date was.
Okay.
This would be the same timeline, right? With final word in December.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, they take the statements of interest for new construction projects around that April timeline. They run through a year, filter it down, and then once they filter it down, the decision typically comes at the end of the year.
So it's due on April 12th.
Yep.
So backwards planning from that, do we know what our meeting is? I assume we'd want a draft presented 2 meetings prior to that, so if we presented, discussed, updated, and voted on.
Yeah, I think our next meeting would be April, the meeting before that, not our next meeting, I apologize, would be April 8th, if we keep on every 2 weeks.
Okay, so then March 25th would be the one before that.
Yeah.
So have a draft by March 25th meeting.
Yep. And the other way, so there's part of that too that requires like signatures and stuff, and we can talk to Ada about it, you know what I mean, to figure out the logistics of it. But, and the other way too is if we had to call, you know, essentially a special meeting to approve that, if it's, you know, if we don't hit every week, on the every other week schedule, we can do that too.
Okay. I just want to make sure my deadline in mind, so that essentially the 20th of March to send out to folks before March 25th meeting.
Right. Any other questions on MSBA statement of interest? All right, and then item 5B, new business, review and approve project invoices, PMA, January 2024. Gotta get these guys paid. But I'm still not sure the contract status, because I know Chris sent back the signed contract to Nick.
We got the signed contract back to Nick, but I don't know if he's executed it yet.
Correct. So if you don't mind, can we just table that to the next meeting in 2 weeks? Perfect. And then, so one of the things we'll probably want to do too is just internally of like the budget numbers that we get as we get these invoices, just kind of tracking kind of where we're standing with those for. Where are the invoices somewhere accessible or? I think
It should be in that packet, the link that I sent you, the invoices included in there.
All right, thank you.
I'll make a folder on our shared folder as well, and I'll just add all project invoices there so you can access them whenever you want.
All right, so moving right along. Future meeting dates. So, you know, as we were talking earlier, we got to schedule the architectural kickoff meeting. I know on the schedule that was presented earlier, it had the date of this week, but I think realistically, we'll probably want to do something of, off cycle from school building, committee Monday night meetings. So, part of this, almost just a general topic for future meeting dates too, because Sean, you mentioned that Arrow Street has like conflicts on Monday nights for meetings.
Yes, they sent me a list of, they have the first Monday, I'll take these on the phone. The March is pretty booked up for them on Mondays. Moving forward for that, it's I think the first Monday of every month. They have a meeting, but the 4th and the 11th, they also had meetings scheduled. So we're on it. If Monday is the best for this committee, or if there's another night that moving forward was this just picked by chance? Is this, we want to try to relook at the schedule, or is it Monday is better? Question Monday, previous committee is the first Monday of every month, and then, the 4th and the 11th, they have meetings scheduled right now. And they're on the phone too, so they can chime in as well.
So you're saying the 4th and the 11th, March 4th and the 11th, and then after that, it's just the first Monday?
That's what Katie sent her email, yes.
Yeah, if I could speak to that for a second. Just we have another community that we're working with on Monday nights. And if Monday night is the will of this group, we'll figure out a way to make it work. But imagining there's probably some overlap. So if there was a way that we could target a different night and use that moving forward, that would be great from our side. But if everybody says, no, we really got to make Mondays work, Katie and I'll figure it out somehow.
Okay, but other nights during the week, Larry, Tuesday to essentially Thursday is open for you guys at nights?
Yes.
I think we had discussed them Tuesday and Thursday were better, right, Larry? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think that was more from the standpoint of Wednesday, we find oftentimes people have, there's so many committees happening in many communities that Wednesday nights are tough to work with. I think from our side, we could make Wednesday work if that worked for this group. So
Yep.
up to you guys.
Yeah, Wednesdays are no good for you guys, right?
School committee.
Yeah, school committee's on Wednesday night, and then, the other town one that we have is select board on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night. I don't know if we get off rhythm of select board and go on Tuesdays. I just don't know for people here, kind of what your schedules are like, what night works best. And if it's Monday, that, we can have to work with that.
We've occasionally held Thursdays, right? We've occasionally used Thursdays as a backup for this group.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing out there to everybody. I don't know everybody's schedules. So if Thursdays work, I can make Thursdays work. But again, I don't know people's personal schedule. I know we've been on Mondays or targeting Mondays for a long time and stuff like that. So, let me know. Do you guys just want to feedback later or email or something?
I have to look.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
For me,
Yeah.
like, sports happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep.
So I have to figure out if I can
Yeah,
find somebody to do that for me.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, I'm out Tuesdays and Thursdays are no good from August to the beginning of November. I'm tied up every Tuesday, Thursday night.
Here's another difficult suggestion. What
Saturday
about
mornings?
during normal, well, I was gonna say, what about like we find a time during normal business hours? So one of my colleagues is on the Lexington School Building Committee, and they meet Mondays at noon.
Mhm.
Certainly not ideal for me, but I'd be willing to give that a look also. That's something that works.
Yeah. So I think, for us, let's just take this away for right now, like future meetings, and rather than put everyone on the spot to say, what's your schedule like? Let's just know that, it's a request from the architects, and, see what we can come up with. And then, it's almost, I would ask each person, just look at your typical week, because, we're not going to find, not everyone's going to be here in the room at the same time every time. But if we find like an overlapping time that opens up for everybody, try to do that. And I'm fine during the day if we needed to. I have no problem doing a hour to two, middle of the day to kind of dive into some of this stuff, to save night during the week. I'm fine with that, but it's probably tough for you. Sure.
I generally can make the day work, but I can't be on site.
Yeah.
So if you want us in person, then
No, I think
I work from home Wednesdays and Fridays. Happy to do it
I think
Wednesday and Friday.
I think if we were doing something during the business day, it would be fully remote for everybody.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't be able to be in person.
I like that idea then.
Well, maybe we could do like one meeting in person, one meeting remote.
I'm right by 10 PO Square. I'll go to Arrow Street.
Larry has a very beautiful office.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. I'm still here. We can meet at any time.
My office is in 10 Post Office
Oh,
Square.
that's great.
Yeah, there you go.
And we have your tax.
Just on Federal Street. I'm good with that.
Should we send out a doodle poll with essentially?
I think that's the best way to do it, is just get, people's typical schedule over the course of a week, because, it's going to get intense over the next like 3 or 4 months for like the amount of meetings that we have to do and stuff like that. I think these meetings will go a little bit, like this, a little more quicker. I'm not going to have longer drawn out meetings. But some of those break-off meetings that were in that schedule there earlier, I think those are going to be the hard ones. They're going to take a lot longer to do. This is going to be a forum reporting that stuff back to this group and to the public too. They couldn't attend those meetings. So, we'll take those away. But I think that,
For the district folks, during the day, it's going to be a lot easier than at night. Bringing other folks into the mix is a lot more challenging at night.
Yeah, and I think the district folks are going to be more, those kind of one-off meetings that were in that schedule that was there. Just bring it back on topic for school building committee. The meetings that this group has to have. Just get those on whatever schedule that kind of works for everybody here. So yeah, if we could put a doodle poll or something like that together, that would be helpful. But the architectural kickoff meeting, like I was saying last night, it will probably be 2 weeks until we do the formal contract, but I'm open to have one earlier, just to get the architects going, for us to actually meet with the architects too, we saw everybody at the presentation, which was great, but, starting to really do some of that stuff and come to the kickoff meeting, with, after everything we saw in the presentations, some questions, guidance and stuff like that for, how do we go about this? You know what I mean? Sean and Larry, we're gonna be leaning on you guys a lot for, how to build the school, how to properly do this, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think Aqua has his hand raised.
Oh, I apologize, I couldn't,
Thank you. Can you hear me?
sorry about that, Aqua,
That's okay.
Nice.
That's fine, Sean. If we're thinking of doing it in a regular day, not in the evening, I would recommend we limit it to 1 hour a day. Trying to arrange this 2 hours for some of us may make it impossible to participate. So if we do it like 1 hour, I don't mind even doing it 3 times, but let's not extend it beyond 1 hour so that we can fit other meetings around it. That could be a lunch hour that we all take up and have to discuss. Just my feedback on meeting on the day, not in the.
Yeah, and I think it'll be driven by the agenda of seeing what comes up. But I agree, if we could keep, like, we're basically through our agenda right now, we're 40 minutes into the meeting. So I think an hour may be good enough for this. The break-off meetings, those kind of visioning meetings, school tours and stuff like that are definitely gonna be more than that hour. So I think those type of focus meetings are gonna be the long ones, whereas this meeting is gonna be a relay of what occurred at those meetings, just for everybody's, that wasn't able to attend.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I agree, Aqua having, a clear amount of time is gonna be helpful. I just don't know, once we get into the details, if an hour is gonna be enough, because as you said, we're 40 minutes in, but this is my impression is this is a very light agenda. There's like a ton of meat. And so we're already 40 minutes in. But I agree. I mean, it would be hard for me to devote 2 full hours, but I was doodle poll going to maybe do 90 minutes if we split the difference.
Yeah,
That's good enough.
I would say, like, just for people's, like, when we're looking at this, look at an hour and a half to 2 hour window. You know what I mean? And not that I want it to be a 2 hour meeting, but just 90 minutes, I think it's fine too, just to hold that there, because like we've seen some of our meetings, they go much longer and stuff like that. And again, it's all agenda driven. So we'll see.
Another option, that's how it worked, is go with it. It's hard to carve out a 2 hour meeting during the work week. So maybe we start with the 1 hour meeting, and we have a second time during the week that if we need it, we pick it up, and we have a second 1 hour meeting during the week that I think would be easier than trying to grab 2 hours on any given day.
Is there also, or is there the possibility of subcommittees or smaller groups that can kind of divide and conquer?
Or two.
For the sake of the doodle poll, we'll split the difference and say 90 minutes. See, folks, let's see what we can find.
See what comes out of it, or respond with 2 45-minute meetings.
That's fine. So for the architectural kickoff meeting, for people's schedules over, say, next week, let's just kind of start there, right? I think the district leadership team, Peter, if you can kind of coordinate people on that end. But for, members of the committee that are online or here, just basically looking into next week, is there a day or time that would work? And, we'll see if we can get that kickoff meeting kind of nailed down for us, and then we can run it through the district to see if it works for them.
And Sean, you said that AO Street, the 4th doesn't work for them?
The fourth is conflicted, yes.
Yeah.
So next week, the 4th would be out.
Yeah.
Yep. So next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, any of those?
Sports is not happening, right?
Wednesday is a no.
Wednesday is a no. Mark?
I'm sorry, that's the-
And we're talking at night, right?
Or the-
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yep. So we're just talking PM after
yeah, I could do Tuesday, next Tuesday.
next Tuesday,
Ron, I'm good any day but Wednesday next week.
any day but Wednesday, all right?
That helps.
So Tim, you said not Wednesday, right?
Not, yeah.
Any other day you're fine.
Yeah.
And we have school committee Wednesday.
Yeah,
School committee Wednesday. I could join remotely on Thursday.
okay.
Scott? Sounds like we're down to Tuesday or Thursday, either one works for me.
Okay. And sorry about that, Glenn, your end?
He was any day but Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good any day but Wednesday, Sean, sorry.
All right. And Aqua?
I'm trying to look at my calendar. I'm fiddling with my phone here.
No,
I
that's
think-
fine. Sorry, sir.
Please move ahead. I'll give you my update.
Okay. So I think for now, if we can just aim for Thursday, if that works for everybody. So Larry, does next Thursday work for you?
So this is going to be the educational kickoff discussion, or this is just a general kickoff meeting about the project?
I think that with this, are we gonna try to loop in the district team, or we're just?
I would just do it as a general kickoff, get everybody together and,
I can only do Tuesday.
What's up?
I can't do Thursday. I could do Tuesday if you want me there.
Okay, so then, yeah, we'll move it to Tuesday then.
Okay.
Tuesday, the 5th, sounds good. And we'll talk to Mike Perillo, our educational programmer, see if he can join us. And then Peter, maybe it's useful you guys talk about who you want from your side to participate in these kind of visioning sessions.
Yep. I think they're available Tuesday. I don't think it hurts to have them call in, just to get them set, meet the team and.
Oh, no, yeah, the district leader.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anybody, who's available that night, have them jump on. It would be just basically a meet and greet through everybody, you know what I mean? So people can start seeing each other.
And this is virtual.
It'll be hybrid. Yeah. Yeah.
But then for all these MLP, district leadership team things, are those essentially going to be like connecting the Aerostreet team with Peter to schedule out?
Correct. And that's what I was saying. That's what Sean was saying
Right, well,
earlier.
that might be Zoom during the day, whatever works for the district team.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why when I saw that list of meetings of who's going to be coordinating that. Yeah. Guys will. Okay.
Do we think this room's available, or do we have still to figure that out?
Next Tuesday?
Probably. I mean, we might have.
Do you know anybody who can get us in?
I can ask around.
Okay. Yeah, we can ask. So Larry, for that on your guys' end, would that be in person or would you guys all be remote too?
Tuesday, the 5th,
Yep.
we could certainly come down there. At least I could. Katie, I don't want to speak for your schedule. Oh, we're not hearing you quite.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. Yeah, you can get back to us too. You know what I mean? It's call it optional, but for me, I prefer in person. But
Yeah, no, why don't we come down? Katie's giving me the 2 thumbs up. So we'll come down Tuesday, the 5th. Just send us an appointment, time and place.
Yep.
And I think to me, I always like to be in person whenever we can.
Yep. So I think after that meeting, we'll have some, better direction on, the schedule, the vision meetings and stuff like that, once we have that identified. So, all right. And I think the other one, the educational vision meetings, the next thing on the agenda, item 6B, will follow on from that meeting.
And Peter, you said you're already starting to coordinate those efforts and letting people know that it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I just started, but.
Yeah, I mean, today, but.
Yeah.
We'll get
Keep
it.
it at 7 next Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that would be best to just hold that time. And then what we'll do is I'll figure a room. If it's not this room, we'll find some at town hall or something like that. All right. Any other questions on future meeting dates or anything else?
So can I just
Yep,
ask
sure.
about like the envisioning meetings and all? Do you want any school building committee participation or are
Yes.
you just gonna, okay.
Yeah, I would leave it to, Sean, could you share that again? Sure. So in that packet that's there, I mean, for example, the tours of the other schools, you want to go on it, anybody on the school building committee, in my opinion, can do anything on any of those meetings that they, would like. There's definitely some things like use me as an example of like when it gets into educational workshops of, how many rooms and stuff like that. I have no background in that. So, for me, I would like to learn a little bit about it, but I'm not gonna be a contributor to it. So I'm thinking of myself as like a fly on the wall, especially if it's remote and it aligns with my schedule. I'll probably attend it. But for me being a critical person to be at that meeting, if I can't attend it, I wouldn't ask them to kind of reschedule it, just kind of run with who we consider to be the experts. So I think one of the key things is getting the roster of whoever is going to be on that committee there and aligning that roster of people with these meetings here, and then scheduling these meetings around those key people. And then however we can want to fill into that. If we want to be a part of it and be a critical member, I'm fine with that too. We just got to kind of look through these and state that so that when they do the scheduling, they know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the priority has to be on that core group, working on their schedule and then inviting everybody else to join in if they're available. And Larry, these typically are during the day, right? That's what we typically see during the school day. You'll come down and meet with people.
Yeah, that's been our experiences. They're often happening during the day. And we're trying to set them up in a way that minimizes the impact on people's, educational roles, responsibilities. But you're right, we're pulling people at times from their activities. So that's all got to be coordinated at the district level.
And I'd say more times than not, these are all in person. I think they're a lot more productive if you have everybody sitting there in the room versus trying to get it virtually.
Yep. And but I agree with you, Sean, that other folks should feel free to participate. And if nothing else, because questions will come up later in the process, and being familiar with what's discussed can often be beneficial.
Yeah. And maybe it's worth saying that after all of these sessions, Aerosoup will come to this committee and they're going to present, what they did. They'll show you pictures of all the events. They'll show you all the diagrams they made, and then they will they'll recap it all and try to spell out and give you the history of what happened that week or the last 2 weeks, depending on the meeting schedule.
Okay. Aqua, you get your hand up again, sir.
Yeah, I thank you for recognizing me, Sean. Mm-hmm. I would appreciate if it's possible to allow school building committee members who choose to attend the meetings, either for their own learnings or the ability to communicate back to their stakeholders. I think that would be helpful. For me, just like Sean, it would most likely be just learning and being able to say, yes, I know they considered this and they considered that. I think that really helps, because the big hurdle, which we discussed last time, would be getting money for the school. And the more people we get on our side would really help us when we get to that hurdle.
Yep.
I'm sorry if I missed this as well.
Yes, sir.
Thing, but public meeting posting, if too many of us attend, because this is not going to be a publicly posted meeting if it's just district leaders talking about Taylor Street.
Yeah.
So I think we just need a line on who's joining to make sure we don't have a quorum.
Yeah, that we don't hit a quorum at some point.
That's why I was asking.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so we can coordinate that just based on, who's planning on attending and.
It might change though, based on what you're going to do. If you're just going to see something, I mean, you're on this committee, but if you're not going
To deliberate.
yeah, I mean, if you're just witnessing, attending, viewing, I'm not sure.
I mean, we're frankly unlikely to hit a quorum on these off. Like, I would say we should all plan on attending some of them.
Yeah.
And we could have like sign-up slots, like, okay, there are 4 sign-up slots for any school building committee members who want to attend, first come, first serve, but we've struggled to get a quorum other times.
In past projects, that, you're right, has not been an issue, having too many building committees at vision sessions during the day at school locations.
And I'll check with town council on it too.
Yeah.
Just be, similar to what you were saying, of like, there's times where people just show up. For example, we all showed up to a separate meeting, independently, and we showed up there. What do we do? Obviously, I don't know. But I think it's.
I'll always be the person.
That's fine. But I think it's more of for, that's something that's acknowledged in the open meeting law, of like, if you're not deliberating or discussing any topics that we're doing or anything like that, so. I'll check with them, just to confirm.
Sean,
Well,
for the
because-
quorum, there has to be 5 of us, right? All
Yep.
appointed committee members. How about this? I can solve the problem. If I show up and there are 4 other people, I'll go away.
I already said I would do that, Aqua.
We have plenty,
Okay, all right. So,
Everyone's doing that,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
we have plenty.
so
of
we have
volunteers.
it solved. We don't need to talk to.
All right. Sean?
Just one thing as I'm thinking about it, queries for architects and other people.
Yep.
So I'm not sure with the Milton process, they have to go in person. Can we fill out the forms, get copies of the licenses, and have someone, oftentimes, instead of having everybody go to the school and show that, they'll show us their license and they'll give us the copies and we'll present them, we'll sign off on them saying that, Larry gave this to me and we're good to go. And then is there somewhere that gets sent to
That would go to our central office.
Central office.
Yeah.
So I'll get the form, Larry. I'll send it to you, and then for you and Mike and anyone in your team who you think might be in the school within the next couple months, let's just get them filled out, get them core checked, and we'll clear our team as well. And then that'll just be one less thing to worry about.
Great. Yeah, no, sounds good.
All right. Anything else on meetings or upcoming meetings? Hearing none. So move on to item 7, which is adjournment. So
Sure.
entertain any motions.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? None. Roll call vote. So Scott Tereshak,
Yes.
Carrie Hurley,
Yes.
Tim Lombard,
Yes.
Mark Loring,
Yes.
Glenn Hoffman.
Oh, sorry, yes.
There you go. And Aqua Bong.
Yes.
And
Thank
Sean
you.
O'Rourke. Yes. So thank you very much. See you all in 2 weeks.
Hi, guys.
Next
Next
week.
Tuesday.
Well, next Tuesday, but for the, yeah.
Thanks all. See you next week.
Yes.